Hey y'all, so exciting day here. It is warm outside and it is the first day of gardening in tank tops and shorts. That is my preferred method of gardening rather than longer pants or t-shirts. I don't like to have a farmer's tan all summer long, so I'm excited that it's warm enough for that. It's actually almost too warm for that. It's really muggy here. The humidity is super high. So just got a couple things on the list today. I went to Home Depot and I got some hanging baskets for the other pole. I mentioned in a previous video that I wasn't expecting to actually get a third pole, so I needed to get 2 more baskets. I'll show you guys those baskets because I misspoke in the last video. I said the baskets were 28 inches. They're actually 20-inch baskets. I'll show you the brand, I'll show you the tag, and that way if you guys want to go pick some of those up, you definitely can. I need to get those 2 hanging baskets planted, and we actually cheated a little bit and we got the second pole and baskets hung. I think it was on Sunday, and so we went ahead and did that because I knew we would have one more to hang and to set in another video, but I need Tommy here to do that. But I did paint the 2 poles yesterday, and so I'll show you guys those, and then I really think that might be it. Pretty simple video, but wanted to share with you guys nonetheless. So let's just turn around and I'll show you guys the baskets to get started. So here are the baskets. You can see they're Vigoro, they're the growers hanging baskets. They come with a coconut liner already intact, and they are 20-inch baskets right there. So in the previous video where I potted up the other 4 hanging baskets, a lot of people had a lot of great ideas in the comments as far as helping with water retention on these hanging baskets. Some people mentioned that they like to put a black plastic bag, trash bag, in the bottom and puncture holes in it for drainage. Some people mentioned that they like to double line their coconut liners. And for me, I just, I have 6 of these baskets now. These 2 that I'll be potting up today make 6 total. And coconut liners aren't exactly the cheapest things that you can buy. And these only last 1 season for us. So like after this summer, this probably won't be viable anymore. It will be degraded and starting to fall apart. And so I bought 36 by 36 inch square at Joann's Fabric this year because it was on sale for $9.99 a piece. And these baskets are pretty large. So I used to buy pre-cut 28-inch circular coconut liners, but those were actually too small. So they would actually set about 1 inch below the lip, and I just had a lot of issues with water trailing over the edges, and it just made water retention that much more difficult. So I started buying the 36 by 36 squares at Joann's Fabric, putting them in the bottom, filling them with dirt, and then cutting the excess off, leaving just a little bit of a lip above the rim of the basket to help with water retention. But none of those ideas that everybody mentioned are bad ideas. It just, for me, with 6 baskets, a single coconut liner works the best. And I won't be lining them with anything simply because we hook these up to drip. So it's not as much of an issue. And I will just supplement hand water them in between in the middle of the summer when it gets really, really hot. But the plants that I'm planting in these baskets are Martha Washington geraniums and Dichondra silver falls. So I don't have any Dichondra silver falls because I left the garden center and totally forgot to grab those. But I will show you guys the other baskets over here so you can see exactly what they will look like when I get the Dichondra silver falls, and then can just pop them in after I've gotten these Martha Washington geraniums in. So these are tough plants, these Martha Washington geraniums. You can see over here, these are doing really well. And right now they are in shade, but they get full-blown afternoon sun. And so they're just tough plants, and so are the Dichondra silver falls. So that's what I chose to go with this year, because in my previous garden I used to go with New Guinea impatiens in this compact purple color. The New Guinea impatiens were called compact purple, and this is very similar to a compact purple color. So the New Guinea impatiens in this yard, in the locations that I have these hanging baskets in, would just absolutely fry. So I needed to go with something a little bit tougher. And I will be either taking cuttings off of all these geraniums and rooting them for next year so I don't have to buy near as many, or I will be trying to grow these from seed. I've got a whole bunch of deadheaded blooms that I have in the garage waiting on them to dry out. So we'll see if I get anything from those. I'm not sure if this variety is a sterile variety or not. And to be honest with you, I haven't looked at any of the dried blooms thus far to see if there are any seeds. And the other thing is this dinner plate dahlia I'll be planting back in the raised bed. It's a dinner plate dahlia in Lavender Perfection. And I knew I had 2 of these, but I couldn't find the other one. I couldn't find this one when I planted the other one out in the raised bed. I planted the other one about 2.5 weeks ago, and it's already starting to come up. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this popped in the ground as well. And then let me take you guys over here because we did cheat and we hung and sat this pole in these baskets on Sunday. I got the poles painted yesterday. So let me see if I can get a close up without too much of a glare. So there are the baskets. It's kind of in this little opening where we have an opening in the trees, so it gets full sun. And we are potentially going to put a water feature here. I don't think that this fire pit area is going to stay in this location, but we got the pole painted yesterday. We got the basket set on Sunday. We got the pole set on Sunday, and the first Nandina was removed from this area. As I've mentioned in some previous videos, most, if not all of these Nandinas are gonna come out. There's Nandinas here. There's some tucked in over here. There's some right over here as well. And then there's some back in the back corner. So I'm going to take out the Nandinas for no other reason than I'm just not a huge Nandina fan. I kind of do like the airy quality of the Nandinas, but we will be removing this wood pile as well. And just kind of landscaping this area back here. I don't know if we will go with something with some more vertical interest or if we will keep it lower. Just haven't quite got to that point yet. There's so many other things that I need to do, and we're missing the window on planting some larger specimens like Nellie Stevens hollies. So that will probably have to wait until the fall. This over here is more of a priority, as well as the front window box. So of course, any of the projects that we do, you guys will be taken along. Oh, I should also show you guys. Some people in the last video noticed the gate. We do have the gate in, and it's not totally finished, but we still need the opener. We're waiting on that, but they did an incredible job on this gate. I wanted something a little bit less ornate than the gate that was there previously, and the other gate opened in this direction, so we couldn't line 2 cars up, one in front of the other. So these old houses, almost all of them have 1-car garages. Well, actually, that's not true. Some of them have 2-car garages, but they have 1-car driveways. So even though we have all of this extra space here in this area, we can't get 2 cars beside each other. Our cars just don't fit. These driveways were not made for modern day cars. They were made for older Model T cars and things like that. So the new gate will swing out when we get the opener. I will show you guys a full-blown video on the gate. We had someone local make it for us, and it's just a little more modern and clean line than the one that was there before. It's just our preference. So let's just go ahead and get started on getting these Martha Washington geraniums potted up, and then getting this dahlia over here in the ground as well. And I do need to spray some cabbage over here because I have some insects eating on the cabbage back there in the corner, and I'll be spraying it with the Captain Jacks over here. I'll show you guys that as well when we get to that point. So let's just go ahead and get started on the hanging basket. And this is actually not a bad idea either, now that I'm sitting here looking at it. So this is the way that the company was keeping these baskets, these liners in place. I'm gonna go ahead and just clip this off right here. And I'm just gonna keep that in there because by the time I get these plants in here, and the dichondra silver falls will trail over the edges, and so you'll never even see it. That's actually a good hack too that I've never actually thought of. So this is actually the exact zip tie that we use to secure the drip up the pole and across and down the hangers and along the actual chains. So these are very small and discreet. So I'll just clip all of these off. There's actually just 2. but that will keep that liner in place. It will keep it from sinking down too much, hopefully. And we'll get it filled with soil, and then we'll get it filled with some plant tone, and then we'll get it filled with the Martha Washington geraniums, and then we will water it and mulch it and set it aside. I'm just breaking up the chunks here so I can get it to settle a little bit better. And then I need to go grab another bag of potting soil. And I know many of you guys have already seen this process in a previous video, but just in case you're one of those people that haven't, I wanted to go ahead and just film this as well. That way you can get an idea. If you want to see the full baskets, we did 4 in a video a couple of weeks ago with the Martha Washington geraniums and the Dichondra Silver Falls. And as I mentioned earlier, these are missing the Dichondra Silver Falls. I ran off from the garden center without grabbing those. I totally forgot them, but Dichondra Silver Falls will be going in these baskets as well. I mulch all of my hanging baskets just to help with moisture retention. Okay, now both of these are done. I'm going to set these on the black pots that I just got the other ones off of, and we'll get them watered. Okay, and these actually need to be deadheaded as well, so I'm gonna go ahead and knock that out. You can see down here that maybe we have some promise for seed there. This looks totally different than anything that I've harvested previously so you can see how different those two look. This is promising. I'm gonna set this one aside. And for those of you guys that want to see how I deadhead the geraniums, I will put the link below for the previous video where I showed specifically how I deadhead geraniums. It's really pretty simple. I like to cut off all the stalks. A lot of people will just pinch and pull, but my preference is just to cut, and again, just a preference. Because I am trying to collect some seeds from these, and so if I cut them, I'm a lot less likely to shake off any of the seeds in the seed pods from the deadheaded stems. All right, you guys, well, it is hot enough that my camera actually overheated. So while I had the time, letting my camera cool down, I actually went into the garage where I have all the deadheaded blooms from all the geraniums, and I wanted to go through those and see which of those had seed pods, because not all of them will produce seed pods. So I haven't ever specifically gathered seeds from Martha Washington geraniums. So I wasn't sure if at first they were a sterile variety or not, but I have quite a few stems that have seed pods. So I just want to show you the difference between a deadheaded bloom without seed pods and one with seed pods. So you can see the difference right there. This one right here on the left, you can see those tall up shoots right here. And if I peel back some of these layers, which right now I'm not going to do because I don't want the seeds to all fall out and they're not completely dry enough yet. But these are the seed pods. So those indicate which pods have seeds in them and which don't. So this is over here on the right, a spent bloom with no seed pods. On the left, spent bloom with 2 seed pods. So just thought that I would mention that while we had some time, because I know that you can easily clip off a branch of Martha Washington geraniums and root them. And I will be doing that, but I really wanted to try to collect seed and grow from seed as well. So this is super exciting, that I have probably about 15 spent blooms in there with seed pods, 1 or 2 each. So I'm really excited about that. And next on the list, we'll be getting this dinner plate Dahlia planted. And this is what I'll be using to spray the cabbage that's right back there in that left corner of that back left bed. And this is how the raised beds are looking. So most of you guys know there's our other pole over there to the right. I'm hoping to get that set this weekend, may or may not, depending, since it's Mother's Day. I don't know, we'll see if we get around to that or not. But here are the beds, and honestly, the beds were, as most of you guys know, we moved in here on January 27th. And so we've had a lot of stuff going on. We needed to get this entire area back here regraded. And so that took some time. There used to be fence here, and then an arbor here, kind of where the pole is, but a little bit closer towards me. And we had all of that removed, and we had that whole area regraded. And then Tommy and I, we built these raised beds, mostly Tommy, but I did help and I did paint them. And we just got around to this quite a bit later than we had expected to. So you can see there's some uniformity in here and some are in rows. And I would really, really prefer for everything to be in tight rows, but I was in a hurry. I needed to get some stuff in the ground. I'd had some ranunculus that are doing so-so. And the anemones that I had pre-sprouted, they're doing really well, by the way. The one that I thought wasn't going to make it just popped up out of nowhere. So that was a huge plus. But I really would prefer for these to be in a lot tighter and neater rows. I just didn't have enough time to plan out exactly what I was gonna plant and where. I just needed to get some seeds direct sown into the ground, and I needed to get some stuff that I had pre-sprouted into the ground as well. So I kind of just use a haphazard method of just scattering some direct sown seeds in some of these beds, and next year I will plan on getting them much more organized. I will do a gardening plan for these beds, and they will just look a lot more tidy, because this situation right here bothers me. You can see here I did get some more specialized varieties, kind of somewhat organized, but it just gives me anxiety to kind of look at these beds. But once they fill up with blooms and once everything really starts to produce, I don't even know that I will notice. But in this initial phase of, you know, the seedlings getting their first couple sets of leaves, they just look pretty haphazard, and I really just don't like that. Something else I want to show you really quick. Look how pretty the Louisa is doing. So I just planted this here because I needed a spot to pop it into, because I'd had it in containers for a while. Thought, well, I'll just pop it in here, and so it's doing really well there. Here's the other dinner plate dahlia that I was referring to earlier. We'll be planting that other one right behind it. So we'll get plenty of blooms this year, I'm certain of that. Just next year I'll have more time to organize and prepare and decide exactly what I want to do and where, because I still haven't gotten a trellis for the sweet peas back there. I don't know, we'll see how those go. I really need to get a trellis or just make a temporary trellis. Just haven't got around to that with a full-time job and lots of other projects going on at the same time. It's just, you know, you guys know how it is. Real life gardening with a full-time job is kind of difficult. So, or not difficult, I should say time consuming. Okay, so let's just get this dinner plate dahlia planted, and then we will move on to spraying some of the Captain Jack's tomato and vegetable on the cabbage back here. You can see here it's already got a little growth point on it. So this should actually technically, oh, there's lots of growth points actually. So this growth point is trying to grow up this way, because I assume that's how it was in the package there. So we are going to plant this direction just like this, because there's two other growth points coming up there. All right, so that is that. Let's get it watered in, and then we will be done with today's gardening chores. Okay, and this is what I use to spray on the cabbage. It is organic, so this is my preference. Cabbage is looking pretty sad, to be honest with you. I've kind of neglected it back here a little bit. I'm shocked that he's in the shade. Something else that you guys may have noticed earlier is this little section right here that is somewhat dug up. So we needed to kind of clear some of the dirt off of the driveway. It had just kind of fallen in this direction, and here is the edging that's laying over here. So this will be going all along here, and then we will be taking this section of concrete out. We're just gonna come flush with the house right there. And then there's some stuff back here that needs to be moved. We just haven't got around to it yet. And then we will stack our trash cans all along this wall, and then we'll build a surround so that we don't have to look at the trash cans. But this whole section will be coming up. I will gravel that and honestly probably plant there. But all along here, to about right here. Then it will taper down into the walkway, no edging. And then right about where Richard is sitting right here, it will taper up again and start this direction, and again tapering down before it gets to the walkway. So it's just a solution to help us keep this dirt in check. This dirt on this side is quite a bit higher than the driveway level. We had this edging at our old house and it turns just kind of rusty, and I liked that court and steel rusty look, so we'll let it rust, and I think it gives a little bit to the modern vibe of the backyard as well. All right, you guys, well, I think that is all that I have for today. Just some basic gardening chores, and I apologize if this video was repetitive for some of you guys. Some of you guys, though, may not have seen the video of the hanging baskets that was about 2 weeks ago. So I will post a link in the notes down below, and then you guys can check that out if you haven't already seen the hanging basket video. And it also has the deadheading of the geraniums in that same video as well. So check that out if you want, but that is all that I have for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll catch you guys in the next video, and it'll probably be setting the hanging basket poles and painting the hanging basket poles, and then I'll give you guys an overview, a full overview of the gate as well. So thanks, you guys. Have a great rest of your day.